Hello, my name is Maurizio and we're back for the third episode of our Series Editor tutorial series. And as of a few days ago, Series Sam Fusion 2017 has been released, and with it comes this brand new editor. There's a lot of new possibilities with this editor, but we'll stick to continuing to learn some basic things first. In this episode, we'll learn how to make the world interact with the player, as well as how to put some custom music into our world. There's one thing that has notably changed between the Series Sam 3 editor and the Series Sam 2017 editor that you should keep in mind while making your maps. You notice when I test this map, I will just fall straight to the floor. This is because mesh collision is no longer enabled by default. So enter the mesh editor by pressing E, and here you need to enable collision mesh. There we go. Now let's begin on putting some interactivity in our world. Creating worlds like this can be done in several ways, but will always require some scripting work, though usually nothing too advanced. In our case, we'll be covering three things: the animated mover, the detector area, and adding some custom music. Let's begin with the animated mover. The animated mover can be used to move objects in your world around through the usage of scripts. An animated mover contains an animation set, which in turn contains several animations that tell it how to move. Let's say we want this wall I've made to move downwards once we press this button. Before you do anything, make sure that the model you are attempting to move is a static model. You can find the static model under the Geometry tab in the Entity list. The difference between static models and simple models is that static models have a little more permissions to them, but in turn they require a little more processing power to be put into the world. In any case, let's now create our animated mover. The animated mover can be found under the Tools tab in the Entity list. So let's drag it into the world, and now position it so that it goes a little bit above the wall, like so. Alright, there we go. Now let's create our animation. With the animated mover selected, press E, and you will now see this little tab in the bottom of your screen. Go here, select Create New Animation Set. You can change the name for this if you want. The default is fine. And now create a new animation. Let's call this one Move Up. Down, because we want the wall to move down, obviously. And select an envelope. What the envelope does is it tells the editor which points of a skeleton should move. So usually when you're creating a player model or something, there's a lot more of these around. But since we're using the animated mover, there's only one right now. So let's just check it. Okay. Now let's create the actual animation. Go to View, Animation, and here you can select how many frames you want your animation to have. Since we only need to move it down, we can have one frame, and let's have it last half a second. Now you will see this little tab in the bottom with the 0 at the beginning and the 1 at the end. This is the timeline. We can select each frame of the animation here and tell the animation what movements it should make. Let's select the 0 here and press enter. And now, since we only need to change the I value, which is up and down, you can deselect all of these. Usually you wouldn't, but in this case that's possible. Alright, and now select the 1. And now we need to move the animated mover down a little bit. Oh right, I forgot. You need to parent the static model to the animated mover. So select the static model, click the parent tab, and then Control Alt on the animated mover, like so. Alright, now when we move this one, the wall also moves with it. So let's move it all the way down. And now press enter again, and okay. You'll see this little line appear. That's our animation. Finally, we have to tell the editor to actually play this animation. Go to Entity List, and under the Logic tab, create a script. Press E to and open the script editing. Alright, and now type exactly what I type. Button enable usage. Wait events button used. Animation play anim. And then in quotation marks, move down. Now, Control Shift Alt your button onto the button. Really? The animation onto the animated mover onto animation. Side note again, if you want to be able to use the button, it has to be a static model. Because if you use a simple model, it will not work. And you also need to make sure that in your static model entity, this control from script value is selected. It has game scripting enabled. Alright. Now let's test that. Press E to use, and it goes down, just as intended. Very good. Now let's talk about the detector area. Detector areas are activated by players walking through them and are therefore useful for spawning enemies when the player enters a new area of the level. Let's do that right now. Go to the Tools tab in the Entity list and then Detector Area. And in the entity you can collapse the primitive here to change the size of your detector area. Let's give it a good size. 50, 10, move it up a little. Alright, that's good enough. Once you're satisfied, go into your script again and then type this. Wait, event detector activated. Enemies spawn maintain group. Control Shift Alt and then drag the corresponding entities. Alright, let's test it. Shift T. This works. Walk through here. Alright. Finally, let's add in some music. This is the easiest part. In the entity list, by pressing N, go to your world info. And here you'll notice all these musics and sounds parameters. Let's go over them. Environment sound is like ambience, like birds chirping and waterfall sounds, background basically. Exploration music is the music when there are no enemies around, so the peace music. Fight music is when you're fighting at least one enemy, and the war music is a special kind of music that you can call at will through scripts. Alright, let's select some music for our peace music. Let's select the excuse me. Select the piece here, and for fight music, select medium. Alright. Alright, one last tip. If you want to only to have certain music play locally, then you can use the zone controller, this one. Drag it into your world and entity, and change the size here, like so. And you can put in the same exploration and fight music just like you would with the world info, except when you do, it will only play the music while you're in this orange box. And that'll be it for this episode. In the next episode I might go over the new possibilities with the Fusion 2017 editor. But if there's something you would like to see me cover, you can post a comment down below, and I may consider it for the next episode. Thanks for watching and good luck with your modding.